Good morning, students. We'll be starting with our Unit 3, Chapter 3, Part 1, that is Software Quality Assurance. Um, when we are talking about software quality assurance, the first thing which comes is quality concepts. So, quality is a complex concept which can be described from 5 different point of views, which are as follows. So, quality, when we talk about quality, is concerned with very different aspects in the consideration of a software. So they are as follows. There are 5 quality aspects which can be followed, and they are checked by 5 point of views, and those are as follows. The transcendental view. In the transcendental view, the quality that is something which can immediately recognize but cannot clearly define and documented. So yes, this is indirect, somewhere a suggestion that you can view the quality, but then you cannot define it somewhere, or you cannot document it. The next is the user view. The quality in terms of an end user has some specific goal, that there is some specific achievement through which we can show the quality to the user, and that is end user goal. Then if a product meets those goals, it reveals quality. Yes, if it completes the user requirements, then only it can be termed as quality. Next is the manufacturer's view. Defines quality in terms of original specification of the product. If the product follows to the specification, it shows quality. Specifications mean certain functions. If it has certain functions or characteristics, it can be termed as manufacturer's view. Next is the product view. Suggests that quality can be tied to inherent characteristics of a product. Inherent characteristics means what output a particular product is giving. It can be termed as a product view. And the last is the value based view. In measures based on quality, on how much customer is willing to pay for a product. Yes, obviously, when I say that a particular product is value for 100 and the customer is paying 80, then there is somewhere 20 rupees loss. But then still, if a product is properly done with all the levels, it can be termed as the customer, if paying the same amount of the value, it can be termed as the value based view quality. Moving on to the next, that is quality movement. So the first step of quality movement is to develop a process that is visible, repeatable and measurable. Yes, quality, when it is checked at every level, there are 3 stages which are being calculated. First is visible, next is repeatable, and third is measurable. Visible means making a transparency so that quality can be seen. Repeatable means again and again applying the same function so that there should not be any uh, compromisation in quality process. And measurable means what measures we have taken to achieve those quality. Then the second step examines intangible that affect the process and works to optimize their impact on process. So whatever examinations are being done on quality, they should be examined in such a way that their effect on the process should be checked and optimized there to get an proper impact. It should not somewhere impact on the process while working. While the first 2 steps focus on the process, both the steps focus on process, that is first step and the second step. The next step concentrates on the user of the product. So third step will be concentration of the user of the product, because by examining the way of user leads to improvement in the product itself and potentially to the process that is created. The user focus is also important on base of the quality, because the third view is the user view. Next is final step extends management concern beyond the immediate product. Yes, there are management concerns also, and the final step is related to the management. This is a business oriented step. Business oriented means when you work in an organization, you need to go with the orientation of the organization. Looks for opportunity in related areas identified by observing the use of the product in the marketplace. Yes, they also check the requirement of that product in the marketplace and then only develop such type of quality products in the market so that they can be easily sold out. Now next is background issues. Background issues are nothing but a history which is associated. So there is nothing as such in the backgrounds. We have learned this in the prior two chapters also, but still if you want I can send you some topics related to the background. But as if to explain something, there is nothing in the background issues. Still after the lecture I will send you some image of the background issues. We'll move on to the next topic, that is SQA activities. Software quality assurance activities are related on is composed of variety of tasks associated with two different areas. So there are two major areas in which software quality assurance activities are being performed. So the two different areas are the software engineers who do technical work, and so first is the software engineers who work on the technical issues, and an SQA group that has responsibility for quality assurance planning. So SQA group for the responsibility of quality assurance and software engineers who do technical work. So these two different areas are being connected, from which these activities are performed by an independent SQA group. That so SQA group performs certain independent activities so that a particular task or a particular output is being properly completed. So first is prepares SQA plan for a project. So preparing an first SQA quality assurance, software quality assurance plan for a project, which includes evaluations to be performed, what should be included, and reviews to be performed. Auditing and as well as reviewing the product is also important. Next is standards that are applicable to the project. Yes, and certain standard rules are also being applicable to the project or not. Procedures for error reporting and tracking. If error is there, how it can be reported, what could be the procedure to be followed. Documents to be produced by the SQA group. What documents should be the SQA group represent to the development team, and the amount of feedback provided to the software project team. Yes, if a particular team is working, so what reporting should be done, what feedback type should be given to the project team of software project team also should be decided. Next is participates in the development of the project software process description. So the software team selects a process for the work to be performed. So a particular software team will decide what project work should be performed, how, and then the SQA group reviews the process description for compliance with organizational policy, internal software standards, external imposed standards, and other parts of the software project. So software team will decide which processes to include for the task to be performed, and then the SQA group will review all the process for compliance with organizational policies. Organizational policies mean certain rules, internal software standards, the company software standards, external means the user software standards, and the other parts of the software project plan. So these both people are working together, that is software team and the SQA group. Now the third one is review software engineering activities to verify compliance with the defined software process. So they have to also review the software engineering processes on the to verify what the compliance with defined software process. So the SQA group identifies the SQA group will keep a review, as well as they will identify, document, they will keep a documentation and track the deviations means the changes from the process, and verify that the corrections have been made. The changes are there, some output is not the actual output, it's somewhere the expected output is not coming. They will verify that the changes are made or not, and they will identify it, document it and track it, so that after some time, if that same problem occurs, they can refer it to some another person. So next is audits designated software products to verify compliance with the defined as part of the software process. So audits, why do audits are done? Audits are done to check the cost relevancy of the particular process. So the software quality assurance group reviews selected work products, that is identification, documentation, tracking, deviations, verifies that correction have been made, and periodically reports the result of its works to the project managers. So auditing, what it does, it reports all these things to the project manager, and what we have seen, that is identification, verification, tracking, corrections are done or not, periodically reports are being resulted or not, all these things are reported or handed over to the project manager. The next is ensures that deviations in software work products are documented and handled according to a documented procedure. So deviations made should be encountered in the project plan. Yes, so the changes made after the verification and tracking, the changes are made or not, and those changes are included in the project plan or not. Then process description is being done or not, that is applicable standards or technical work products, both are being included while making a project plan, are being followed or not. Then last is records any non-compliance and reports to senior management. So non-compliance items are tracked until they are resolved, so non-technical things are also being tracked off. And in addition to these activities, in addition with these activities, the SQA group coordinates with the control and management of change, and helps to collect the and analyze software metrics. So it will try to not only go with the technical people, they will also check the non-technical reviews of the particular process. Next is the software reviews. So a software review is an important part of software development life cycle. Yes, we had learned this in the prior chapter also, that software review is an important part of the SDLC life cycle. So process that helps software engineers to validate the quality, functionality and other basic features and components of the software. Yes, for checking the validity as well as functionality and the other basic features, for depending on the concept of quality, are also checked in the software review. As mentioned above, it is a complete process. Software review is a complete process till the end of the life cycle of software, and involves testing the software product and ensuring that it meets the requirements stated by the client. Yes, the end of life cycle of a software review is it should meet the user requirements, in which first one is formal technical reviews. So FTR, the formal technical review is a software quality control activity performed by software engineers. So keep this in mind, that formal technical review is a software quality control activity which is performed by whom? Software engineers. Software engineers do this. So the objectives of an formal technical review are to find errors in functions, logic or implementation of the software, implementation for any representation of the software. So what do? They find errors in functions. Functions means a normal function which is there, which you have opened a function and then you are using it in some another class. Then logic is your mathematical logic, or implementation of any representation, for any representation of the software. So software representation is being done by the formal technical review by software engineers. To verify that the software under review meets its requirements, it should meet the expected requirements. To ensure that the software has been represented according to the predefined standards, the predefined expected output is being seen or not should be verified. Then so should be represented. To achieve software that is developed in a uniform manner, it should have a proper pattern and a uniformity, that it should be same and consistent. It should not differ from the expected output and the actual result. Then to make projects more manageable is time taken. Then we can say standard set are properly followed or not. All those things can be checked from the formal technical review. The next is the review meeting. So when we talk about the review meeting, in the formal technical review you have three types, that is the review meeting, review reporting and record keeping, and third one is review guidelines. So first we'll be going with the review meeting. So the review meeting is regardless of the FTR format that is chosen. Every review meeting should stand by the following constraints. So every review meeting, rather any standard is being there or a format has been there for the formal technical review, but still you should have certain stand for that following constraints to be followed, certain formulas to be followed while working on an FTR. So for that, typical 3 and 5 should be involved in the review meeting. Typically 3 or 5 people should be involved in the review meeting, that is certain software engineers, technical review teams, all such things. Advanced preparation should occur, but it should not be more than 2 hours of work for each person. So advanced preparation, pre-preparation we can say, should be there for the solution, as well as it should not be more than 2 hours for every person. The duration of review meeting should be less than 2 hours. It should be less than 2 hours of the review meeting should be less than 2 hours. Then the next is the focus of the FTR is on work product. The individual who has developed the work product, the producer, informs the project leader that the work product is complete and the review meeting is required. So the person who is working on the project, that is the producer, should tell that the work is being done. Now we need to take a review meeting for this particular work which has been completed. The next is review reporting and record keeping. So review reporting and record keeping is it has certain questions and which should be answered and documented, that is what was reviewed, who reviewed it, what were the findings and conclusions, all such questions. So the review summary report becomes a part of, so after asking these questions, it will keep a record of these questions, and project historical record may be distributed to the project leader and other interest party. So whoso all are concerned with this will be provided with this report of the record of the questions asked in the review reporting. The review issues list serve two purposes. Why do we report? There are two purposes of this: to identify problem areas within the product, and the next is to serve as an action item checklist that guides the producer as corrections are made. So making a checklist and just identifying the problems in which area they are. For that purpose we do review reporting and record keeping. Then there is review guidelines. Review guidelines are conducting formal technical reviews and must be established in the advance, distributed to all viewers, agreed upon and then followed. So guidelines are certain rules and regulations which need to be followed while performing a task in the formal technical review process. And for that, a review that is uncontrolled can often be worse than no review at all. So if it is not followed, certain guidelines are not followed, then it cannot be termed as review at all. The conditions can become worse and the outputs will not be expected. And for that, the set of guidelines of formal technical review are: review the product, not the producer. So after the producer is done with the product, we have to check the product, not the producer. Set an agenda and maintain it. So we need to follow agenda to maintain it. Limit debate and contradiction. So debating is not possible. Contradiction means a contradictory negative implementation cannot be given. Pronounce problem area, but don't attempt to solve every problem noted. So we should find the problem areas, but every problem is solved or not cannot be assured. Take written notes, documentation is required. Limit the number of participants and insist upon advanced preparation. So as I said, in the review reporting also they had said that only 2 or 3 or 5 people are required and they should not work more than 2 hours each. So limiting the number of participants is required. Developing a checklist, so they should have a checklist to that guides the producer for corrections. Then allocate resources and schedule time for FTRs. Yes, they should be not more than 2 hours. So allocating them required resources and telling them the duration for work. Conduct meaningful training for all reviewers. For a particular new process to come into consideration, we should give the training to the reviewers. And the last is review your early reviews. So reviewing our older reviews can also help for further guidelines can also be possible. So we'll stop here for this particular lecture. We'll continue in the next lecture. Thank you.